Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the stream. It's Wednesday. I keep having to think about what day of the week it is, but it's Wednesday, I promise. And you know what that means? It means that it's time for Jump Around, our weekly cardio class, right smack dab in the middle of the week to wake us up. It is also week 2 of Rocktober currently, so all of you who were here for last week, you know that this week's gonna be ramping up the fun, so woohoo! Hi everyone. How is everybody? I don't know. Not much has changed since last night for anyone who was here last night. I suppose that is to be expected. I did sit on the porch a little bit today, which was exciting. I mean, you know the struggles we've been having with air quality out here, so to be able to sit on the porch and write a little was absolutely lovely. And I want to do more. What is this? Oh, it's a candy. Sorry, don't mind me, just random candy on the floor. You know, like you do. Yeah, midway through the week, there's a lot of heavy stuff in the world, my friends. I'm not gonna get into particulars right now, but there is a lot that is weighing on my mind, so I'm very glad to be here for right now and to be able to take a little bit of time to put all that down and to have a little fun here with our awesome month of programming. And God, it is so warm in my apartment. Oh my goodness. I'm going to be complaining about this basically until it's actually cold outside, so hopefully it's not quite as stuffy in here. Although, let me tell you, this apartment is great for not having to spend any money on heating utilities, because last winter, I don't think the heat went on once. No, I am positive the heat did not go on once. It was just... In fact, most of the time the windows had to be opened. That's how hot and stuffy it gets in here, and they're just, apartments on all sides, and so it is really not great that I no longer have access to the AC. I appreciate the optimism of my leasing office in switching the HVAC over to heating from AC, but I do think that they were just a little bit jumping the gun there, given, Colorado and climate change and all that fun stuff. Yeah. But we're here, and, adding a little bit of environmental stress does interesting things to a workout. It's not a bad thing, certainly. So I will choose to look at it from that perspective to the best of my ability. But you know what? We're on week 2 of Rocktober, and that has been a lot of fun. Yesterday was our first week 2 class for perpetual motion, and it was just really exciting to get to ramp up on the previous week's programming, and I can't wait to see what people get out of it. And this is sort of the first time of me doing like a month-long programming push, and so it's not haphazard, but certainly being planned out on a week-by-week basis in a lot of ways. So, I definitely am going to turn this into a more regular occurrence where we have, programming that sort of follows one week to the next. And I'm excited to play around with that format a little bit. So, woo! So if you weren't here last week, just be aware that I'm going to not be spending a ton of time describing and demonstrating the exercises, because they are all the same exercises that we did last week. So, I will obviously tell you what the exercises are, but and everything that we're doing is pretty well known to everybody who's taken this class, I would say. So it will hopefully not be a huge issue. But just so you know, I'm not going to be spending as much time. We're going to be powering through class a little bit more intensely. And if this is your first time in class at all, welcome. Also, an odd time to join class, not odd of you, just odd because we're in the middle of this programming push. So if you get through class and go, I didn't really know what the hell was going on for most of that, I recommend heading over to the YouTube channel and checking out some of my previous VODs, and they'll give you a sense of what class is usually like. So, but anyway, it's time to get going. So let's do our pre-class checklist. So make sure you got your water, especially if there's heat on in your apartment. Make sure you got your comfy clothes on, your mat or mat-sized space on the floor, and nope, that's not where my fitness wearable is. Here it is. If you are using fitness wearable, now is the time to set it going. High intensity interval training is what we use for this class. And yeah, let's get going. Oh my God. Sorry. Like I said, it's been a week. It's been a week so far. It's just a lot of heavy stuff, and you know, that's exhausting. It's exhausting to carry around so much emotional weight from a variety of different sources. So, but it's okay because we're here and we're working out, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to be fun. So let's do it. Let's start with our warm-up, our 16-minute warm-up. Everybody onto your mats, on your backs, 1 foot crossed over the opposite knee. And let me actually reopen the timer app, which I had closed for some reason. And as soon as you hear that horn, we will start with our hip rocks and bridges. Ha-cha-cha. Hey, there we go. And here we go. Remember, this is the warm-up. This is not a time to push all the way to 11, because we want to actually have the energy to get through the entirety of class. And so I'm just going to talk a little bit about Rocktober, because you know, my goal as a teacher is to always make sure that people are paying attention to their bodies, to what they need, making sure that people feel comfortable, you know, making modifications if they need to, and, you know, taking a step down energy-wise if they need to. Like, all of that is very important. And I want that to always go without saying. However, I also want to emphasize that for this particular month, you know, this is a series of programs that are designed to ramp up in intensity. You know, we are deliberately going through this series and challenging ourselves. And I want to focus on that a little bit because, you know, if you've taken class with me for a while, you know how frustrated I get at the, you know, like no pain, no gain, gym rat culture, because of the unhealthy approach that it encourages people to take towards their bodies. But I also want to make sure that you're really giving yourself the opportunity to challenge yourself, because, you know, we've also talked about the fact that, you know, our brains are very good at finding the bare minimum amount of energy that they need to expend to do what is asked of them, and then just sort of sticking there. And anyone who has ever ended up in sort of a plateau period with their fitness knows what that feels like. And this month, I really want us to be very deliberately challenging ourselves, pushing ourselves a little bit harder each week, you know? And some of that's going to be accomplished just by the ramping up of the exercises and of the timers. But, you know, the reason that we're structuring the weeks like this, we're not changing exercises week over week. We're not even doing too much futzing with timer structure, although there'll be a little bit more of that in weeks 3 and 4. But we're keeping the same exercises, and a huge reason for that, you know, there's just sort of twofold. One, doing the same exercises week over week for 4 weeks gives us a real opportunity for comparing our performance and getting a much clearer snapshot of how we've improved. And it also takes away a lot of the processing that goes into class and that can take away from our brain's ability or desire to challenge itself. You know, so when we're not constantly having to wonder, okay, what's the next exercise? Okay, this is the series. Remind me of the timer structure again. Okay, how do I transition from X exercise to Y exercise as quickly as possible, etc., all of that stuff that we have to think about. We're minimizing the amount of thought you have to put into that by doing the same exercises week over week and the same general structure week over week. So we can really focus in and go, all right, I am going to really give it my all because I have all of this freed up conscious processing, and I want to devote it to challenging myself and seeing what I can accomplish. And everybody's definition of challenging themselves is going to be different, and that doesn't change, you know. Maybe your definition of challenging yourself is maybe you struggle with slowing down your pace over the course of a timer, and your goal is to be able to maintain the same pace the whole time. Maybe you have a specific number goal, like maybe you've noticed that you are generally able to do 10 mountain climbers in 20 seconds, and you want to get that up to 20 mountain climbers or something like that. You know, I'm just pulling numbers out of thin air, but you get what I mean. You know, so we're in week 2 now, which means last week we had a chance to sort of settle in, get a sense of what the exercises were, and, you know, go, okay, this is the structure. I have it sort of generally mapped into my head. You know, obviously I'll need a little bit of a refresher next week, but as the weeks go on, I will need less and less of a refresher. Now is the time to really start thinking about, what do I want to get out of these 4 weeks? What is my ultimate goal? What does ramping up and challenging myself mean to me? And I really want you to actively think about that. If you're planning on taking all of these Wednesday classes with me this month, then I really want you to focus in and go, okay, by the end of the month, what do I want to have achieved? And, you know, give yourself a little goal. And you know what? It's really the most low stress possible scenario for giving ourselves a goal. It's a very short amount of time, so we're not going to be giving ourselves, you know, enormous, earth-shattering goals. And, you know, if you don't reach the exact goal that you set for yourself, you are still making progress towards it. And that is always a success, you know. Goal setting is really important. It is a good way to motivate ourselves. However, when we get too fixated on specific numbers or specific goal metrics, we frequently will forget to recognize the achievements that we are making, even if we don't hit that specific target. And, you know, that can cause frustration, that can cause us to really beat up on ourselves, that can cause us to demotivate and not want to continue forward with exercise because we're like, well, I'm not hitting these exact goals, so, you know, what's the point? Well, the point is, even when you're not hitting the exact goal in the exact time frame that you had it set for, you are still improving. You are still moving forward, and you are still doing something that is so good for you, and that you will notice those effects over time. You really will. It may take a while before you really notice them, and that can be so hard, particularly in American culture, where we have a lot of focus on instant gratification. We also have a lot of focus on expectation on being good at something right off the bat. And if we are not good at it immediately, then what's the point? Well, again, coming back to one of my favorite things to remind myself of, perfect is the enemy of good. When we are so fixated on hitting this mythical perfect status, we lose sight of the fact that we are getting better, that we are improving ourselves, and that we are seeing benefits and doing something that is really helpful and healthy. So, I want this month to be an opportunity for us all to really challenge ourselves and push ourselves a little bit harder than maybe we tend to, remind ourselves that it is awesome to give ourselves goals and to work towards them, but also remind ourselves that it is okay to not hit the exact target, because everything you do in this month is going to be good. Everything you do in this month is going to be helpful, and it's going to make you stronger, make you more powerful, give you more stamina and more speed. Even if you don't hit the exact target you're going for, it will still be a success. So, it can feel hard and counterintuitive to keep both of these concepts in our heads as we're going along. And I totally get that. But I hope that you are able to talk yourself through that, because, this is going to be so much fun. It already is so much fun. And I think that even if you don't hit, a specific target, you will still notice the changes and the improvements over the course of this month. So, besides, it works out absolutely perfectly in terms of timing. The last class of October is Saturday the 31st. I did not actually deliberately plan that, but boy howdy did it work out well. So, yeah, definitely join me on this journey if you feel so inclined. You can tell that I am filled with renewed energy after my rest week a couple of weeks ago. So, I always take every opportunity to sing the praises of rest weeks. But right now, I'm going to focus on really enjoying this renewed energy and renewed excitement about being here and doing this work with all of you. So, woo! Yep, it is starting to feel like a sauna in here. That's for sure. Oh, man. So, another reason why I will also be constantly reminding you to drink your water. Always try to finish the entire bottle by the end of class. And then, as soon as class is done, as soon as the stream is done, go to the kitchen, because we're all in our homes right now, and pour another glass or water bottle and drink that as well. Always make sure that you're hydrating yourself as well as possible, okay? Because man, are we bad at that, and man, is it important. All right, moving into the cardio portion of our warm-up. Remember, we are still not ramping up to full power yet. We're still finishing our boot up sequence. We want to have plenty of energy for the rest of class, because let me tell you, it's going to be a big one. It's going to be super intense. So I don't want you using up the entirety of your energy right here and not having anything left for the rest of class, okay? So just settle into a rhythm. Notice that your heart rate gets a little faster, your breath starts to come a little faster, your body's trying to move that oxygen all throughout your limbs a little bit faster. It's pretty confident now that you are here to exercise, and that's good. That's good. It should be confident in that fact. So let's finish out the process of letting it know that yes, we're here, we're ready to push ourselves through class, challenge ourselves, be good to ourselves, and get real tired and real sweaty, okay? All right, so close. We've just got one more thing to do when that timer goes, and it's burpees. So make sure that you're doing a wave push-up, not a plank push-up, okay? No matter if you really want to be doing a plank push-up, I understand, but that is not the push-up we're doing here. So keep your elbows in by your sides. Give a nice big victory clap when you take that jump up at the top. And just keep on pushing. Got a little bit more to go. And then we will be through our warm-up, ready to take our first gulps of water and push ourselves forward in class. Woo! Yeah. Good job, everybody. All right. Get some water. Hiya. Hiya. Hey, look at all the friends. All the friends in chat. Hello. Hello, hello. Good to see y'all. Well, digitally anyway. That's, yeah, I know oh God. You know, I'm just not going to worry about it. It's going to be, hey chat, let's wrap. My lighting's going to be weird until the sun goes down a little bit more. Ooh. All right, this is our first big rest, and I want you to make sure you're drinking plenty of water, okay? I don't want you to get to the end of the class and have that water line be still up at the top. And if you think I'm emphasizing this too much, you're wrong, because adult humans are super bad at hydrating ourselves. If you've ever gone through a day or a series of days where you're like, I don't understand why I'm so tired and headachy and just no motivation, have you actually watered your meat bag? That sounds weird, but you catch my drift. Hydration is important, particularly when we're working out like this, because we are expending a lot of that fluid and we need to rehydrate. Same way that we need to refuel ourselves with food. We need to rehydrate as well. So can't stop, won't stop talking about it. All right, my friends. So last week was all Tabata timers, as will this week be. Yeah, I know. But we're going to alternate between 30 tens, so 30 seconds of work to 10 seconds of rest, and 20 tens. All right, so we're going to be going back and forth. The first set is going to be 30 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest. It's the same 2 exercises that we started with last week. So flying chickens and mountain climbers, regular old mountain climbers, all right? I trust you to know what you're doing, but I'll also be doing a lot of this with you. So fear not, you'll get to follow along a little bit. Oh God. All right, so that's our stop sound. That does not mean go. God, I love Tabata timers. So flying chickens, feet together, thumbs at chest level, and we're doing this nice jump, flapping our elbows. Feet come out in the air, but then land right back together on the ground where they started. So it's similar to jumping jacks, but it's different because you don't jump out and land with your feet apart and then jump back in and land. So this is probably over-explaining it for most of you, since most of you have taken this class with me for a while, but you know, it's important because this is the internet. There could be tons of newcomers watching class and needing more explanation than I'm giving. So, hi, if you're a newcomer, I apologize that these classes for this week or for this month aren't going to be quite as focused on explanation and demonstration as they usually are. But I do try to do as much as I can. So if you're really struggling frequently, you can just look up at the screen and I'll be doing the exercise. Oh my God, yeah. Puzzle pieces are really coming to the end of their utility, I think. They have served me well. They have absolutely served me well, but I don't think that they were truly designed for this configuration and this intensity of work. You know, most of the time when people have these down, they've covered their entire floor with them. And I think that helps, obviously, because they're getting pressure from the walls themselves. They're going out that far. Whereas having just a strip of them like this, there's not really the opportunity for them to keep that tightness in the puzzle piece area. What is that called? Is there a word for like the tines of a puzzle piece? God. Oh, the strange things that you think about while you're trying to explain things in class. You're all probably over here getting ready for your flying chickens going, what is she talking about? Except something did end up in my chat, which means that Will probably had an answer for me. So I will check that in a second. But for now, we are about halfway through. Yeah, we are on the back end of this timer. It's the nice thing about having 2 exercises to alternate between is that we get the opportunity for additional variation in what we're doing. And so the time moves by a lot faster because we're changing it up. we're getting, you know, a little bit of difference, and that is really helpful in keeping our brains a little bit more engaged in what they're doing. So always appreciate when we can alternate back and forth between things. All right, last two. So last time for flying chickens, checking in, making sure that you have control over the movement. We're not sort of letting everything fly about, you know. This isn't a particularly technical exercise when it comes to form, but I am being very deliberate in how far out my feet go in the air and bringing them back into this position, trying to not whap my ankles together, which can be a very easy thing to do. And now, last run through for mountain climbers, remembering we want to keep our shoulders directly over our wrists and our butts out of the air, no matter how much we're moving, okay? So you don't want to be pushing yourself backwards until suddenly you're in a downward dog. And if you notice that, just push your butt down, and that will help you to reset the shape until the timer goes and you can come to a halt. Huzzah! All right. Whew. More water. Interlocks? I guess that would make sense, linguistically speaking. But, you know, your guess is as good as mine. Ooh. Yes, plenty of water. Plenty of water. See? I talked about this last week, I know, but one of the things that I love about doing streamed classes is that there's no reason for you to be in any way self-conscious about how much you sweat, which has never been something I've struggled with, but is absolutely something that plenty of people do, you know, especially amphab folks, assigned female at birth. You know, people like to pretend that women don't sweat, which is ridiculous, but you know, you see, like, there are commercials for products to like deal with sweat stains in the crotch area when you're working out in your pants, and it's like, are you kidding me? Nobody needs this crap. Oh, I love that chat is just a conversation about what the connecting pieces of puzzle pieces are called. Thank you. Thank you all, my friends. Mwah. All right. So, our second set, we're going back to 2010s. So 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest, and the exercise is our turtle burpees. So not our regular burpees. We're doing our turtle, so rolling up onto our shoulders, up onto our feet, jump here, wave, push up, jump forward, jump up, and repeat, okay? So that is our structure. It is so fun. You know how much I love turtle stuff. But, all right, so everybody onto your mats. Enjoy the return to 20-second work intervals. Enjoy the fact that the first sound you hear is not the go sound. It is, in fact, the stop sound, the rest sound. To get yourself in order, then knock, knock, knock means get set, so that as soon as that horn goes, you start moving, okay? So remembering that our bare minimum conditions are starting on time, stopping on time, and doing the exercise correctly, and that part of that is that knocking sound. The whole reason that it's in the timer is to give you that heads up so that you go, okay, knock, knock, knock means I need to be in exactly the position that I have to be in so that when that next horn starts, I can just immediately start doing the exercise, all right? So Rock on. Feeling groovy. Feeling groovy, my friends. I am feeling very energetic today, which is awesome. Luckily for all of you, all of this programming was designed, a week ago. So it's not the kind of situation where I am suddenly ramping things up unexpectedly. We knew this was happening. My mentor, when he teaches classes, he's really into UFC fights, and whenever there was a fight over a weekend, you could be pretty confident that the next class would be super intense, because he would have all this energy, and he'd just be like, all right, let's go. So yeah, sometimes the intensity of class is simply predicated on the mood of your instructor, which makes sense because everything that we do as people is influenced by our current mood, by the things we are struggling with, by the things that are making us happy, all that jazz. Oh man, I do love turtle burpees though. Please do enjoy the experience of rolling around a little bit, because we don't get to do that nearly enough as adults, and it's just a shame. It's a shame. It was so fun, when you were a kid and you could just sort of roll around and roam around wherever and however. So let's take this opportunity to get a little bit of that back and check in on your form. So we're pretty well into this timer. So how are those push-ups feeling? How is that jump feeling? How is your transition from being on your feet to jumping back into that plank? Because the more momentum you can get going for that, the easier the whole thing is. If I can just roll up and then jump, that makes that so much simpler and a lot more fun too, So momentum can really be your friend in a lot of exercises. All right. Woo woo. Good job, everybody. Let's settle down and have some more water. It is a beautiful day today. It's been not a lot of variation in the temperature since last night, which is always an odd experience, I left the house at like 6:10 this morning, and it was already, 66 degrees, and it's been about 70 for the rest of the day. But it's been a really pleasant 70. You can tell the difference between 70 degrees in summer and 70 degrees when you are technically moving towards winter. There is an overall coolness to the air, which is wonderful. Is that you for the temperature or the time? I'm going to bet the latter. All right, so we're going back to our 30-10s, and as we recall from, as we recall from last week, our third set of exercises, we've got our flying scarlets. Man. Yeah, someday I will not be futzing with those every 2 seconds. So our flying scarlets, arms up, jumping back and forth, and then our side-to-side planks. So these are not going for speed, these are going for strength and stability as we go back and forth, okay? Alrighty, let's get back on our mats and get ready to go. Remember, 30 seconds of work to 10 seconds of rest. So we've got a bit more, 10 extra seconds. If the timer ever turns on. Come on, buddy. There you go. Timer is on. And first sound still does not mean go. Remember for our flaming scarlets to get those knees up above the hip crease and keep those arms in a V the whole time. So you don't want the elbows to start sagging down. Really keep those arms locked and really focus on bringing those knees up. So if I hold my hands here, my knees are smacking into them every time, okay? So those are the things to pay attention to. And, you know, there may be reasons why you can't get your knees up that high, but I want you to go for as much height as you can, okay? Whether you're able to hit that height, I want that to be your challenge for this month. If you have not yet been able to get your knees up that high, I want you to really work for that as we continue forward, okay? But now we're doing one of my favorite exercises, and the exercise that really helped me to strengthen out my shoulders, particularly once I started having various chronic pain issues with my left shoulder. The side-to-side planks have just been so wonderful. Such a great opportunity, you know, and it was doing PT for my shoulders forced me to focus in on an area that I'd never really focused on before in fitness. I had never done really dedicated, you know, shoulder focused work. And man, did I notice the difference in so many exercises. So many exercises that I used to hate have become so much easier, and you feel that power and that control when you have a little more strength and stability in your shoulders. So highly recommend shoulder strengthening, especially if you've had injury issues, you know, that have impacted your shoulders. Doing a little PT, focused on your shoulders is just such a great thing to do. All right, we are halfway through. Knock, 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 and back to our flaming scarlets. Jumping back and forth. Yeah, as I was saying, there may be reasons why you can't get your knees up that high, and that's fine. I want you to focus on as much height as possible. So if I was doing these and I was just doing this, I would know that I was not going for as much height as I could really achieve, okay? So again, sometimes it's a mental thing where we've got a mental block that is trying to convince us that we can't get our knees up as high. Sometimes there's an actual physical reason, and sometimes it's a combination, because bodies and brains are complex creations, and the answer is rarely a simple and straightforward one. But definitely what you should do is look at that, you know, look at the knees coming up above the hip crease as the aspirational position. And you may not be there today, but that's fine. Again, perfect is the enemy of good. If we insisted that everybody hit every mark immediately, then no one would ever come to class, and I wouldn't be able to teach. But you know, again, having that goal, having something to work towards is really awesome and really important. I am sweating all over my glasses right now. It's funny too. I don't usually wear glasses to exercise, but I like being able to see the webcam, and from this far away, I'm nearsighted, and from this far away, the green dot doesn't really come through. So I'm looking forward to when I have a better camera setup that, you know, hopefully complete with like a lens that is a size that will allow me to see it without my glasses on. Because then I don't have to wear these stupid things and keep cleaning them off when they get covered in sweat, as they're doing right now. All right. Good job, everybody. Woo! Okay. So, how y'all feeling? Good news is we're going back to a 20-10. So 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest. Oh man, I'll give you a second to really drink your water before I remind you of the 2 exercises. But it is a beautiful, beautiful fall day. That's for sure. Most of the leaves are gone from the tree. It feels like that happened overnight. It feels like the leaves on that tree just sort of went when I wasn't looking, and then we're gone. But it's beautiful. It's a beautiful time of year to walk around Boulder. I've been getting some good walks in with friends, which is nice. And now we're exercising, and you know, that feels pretty nice too. All right, so our 2 exercises. We've got our squat jumps. So feet shoulder width apart, squatting down, jump, and jump, etc., etc. And then push-ups. And remember, you can do plank push-ups from the knees. You can plank down, do a wave up, wave down and plank up. You can do full wave push-up. Any of those variations are fine. Just make sure that A, your elbows stay in by your sides, no fanning out, and B, that your shoulders stay over your wrists as you go down and up, okay? So back to your mats, 20 seconds of work to 10 seconds of rest. Get that timer going. Huzzah, huzzah. What's the first thing? Squat jumps, that's it. Oh man, I promise I know what I'm doing. I promise I actually do remember what I'm teaching you. All right, so doing our squat jumps. Remember that you want to make sure the knees are going straight over the feet the whole time, not caving in towards one another. So if you can't do them this far apart without the knees trying to cave in, then narrow your stance a little bit. That's totally fine. It's more important to do them correctly, okay? Modifications so that you can do the exercise correctly are always okay. And we focus on form a lot because form is our bedrock. It is the starting place from which all the rest of this flows. And I want you to always be focusing in on your form, checking in with yourself, and making sure that you are noticing when things do fall out, because that happens to me all the time. You know, I am not over here doing every exercise perfectly every single time. That is, again, perfect, enemy of good. That is an unachievable standard. What I have gotten really good at is noticing pretty quickly when my form starts to fall out, okay? And that is honestly a hugely useful skill. If you can notice when you start falling out of form and fix it relatively quickly, then you will A, not lose too much time, and B, not spend a ton of time doing the exercise unsafely. And we like that because we want you to be safe. I do anyway. That is something that is very important here at Blanche Case Fitness, is keeping you all safe so that you can keep exercising with all of the energy that you have to give it for as long as you want to. Whew. All right, heading into those final sets. Final set of squat jumps right now. Whew. Stood up a little fast there. Making sure the knees are going straight over the feet. I generally will also engage my core for these. And I mean, there are a few exercises that don't come with the assumed clause of engage your core while you're doing this. So even if I don't say it, you can probably assume it's something I want you to be doing. Because man, our core as a stabilizing group helps us to maintain the strength and stability and power of so many other areas. And it's awesome. We love it. We love it. Go core. Okay. Woo! So, now we're gonna head back to 30 seconds of work to 10 seconds of rest. And you're gonna see me switch the mat around, which means that you remember that one of the exercises is shrimps. So our good old shrimps, moving from one end of the mat to the other, moving first shoulders, then hips, then shoulders, then hips, back and forth, and back and forth. And then second exercise is skips. So our nice, easy, just hopping away in place on the mat, not trying to go anywhere. All right, let's head back onto your mats, okay? Yeah. I'd say time to get ourselves ready. Make sure you're drinking that water. Make sure that you're paying attention to what exercise you're doing when. And remember, we're doing 30 seconds, so we'll be going a little longer this time than we did last week. And see if you can speed up your travel, okay? So see if you can really, and paradoxically, this may mean taking smaller movements so that you can shift overall a little more quickly, all right? But see how quickly you can get back and forth on the mat. How many laps can you get in of those shrimps in 30 seconds? It's a fun thing to test, It is a core exercise. It's not one that we usually think of as cardio, but you can get a little speed in there. So test that out. Test that out on our next few journeys through the exercises and see how quickly you can get back and forth. Who knows? Whew. All right, time for our second time through. Back to those shrimps. Remember, if you're struggling to figure shrimps out, if you're new to them, a lot of times people will sort of end up turning in a circle accidentally. Then start with just a small boat rock and visualize that every time my shoulders are off the ground, I move them in the direction I'm moving. And every time my hips are off the ground, I move them in the direction I'm moving. Okay? And, just keep doing that boat rock for a while and visualizing that. And then see if you can put it into practice. All right? But visualization is actually a really powerful tool because so much of our initial gains with any new exercise program are neurological. They're our brains setting down pathways, learning how to do the exercises so they can move that information out of conscious processing so that they can focus that conscious processing on improvements in performance. So if you are not able to recreate the weird ass exercise that I'm doing up here on the screen right away, then visualizing what you want to be doing while doing something similar is going to help your brain start to set those pathways before you even start doing the exercise. So then you can start trying to do it and your brain already has a leg up because it's already been imagining how it's supposed to go. And imagination, my friends, is a hugely important tool in all of our lives. It is an incredible force, and I highly, highly recommend cultivating it in whatever way you feel able to do so, because it helps us immeasurably as we go through life. All right, heading into our final run with these exercises. How y'all doing? I know you're doing great because you're here and you're working hard and you're making it through an awesome Wednesday cardio class. You know, I put this class deliberately on Wednesdays because, you know, even though it is crazy plague times, and time has no meaning overall, Wednesdays still can carry with them that negative midweek association. And having a class like this to really get us pumped up, get the blood flowing, and just rejuvenate that energy, I know that I find it tremendously helpful, and I hope that you do too. It really has helped me a lot to just have a lot of renewed energy to take with me through the rest of my week, no matter what I end up doing with that week. Just gonna flip this back around because we are just about done with that. Huzzah! Let's grab some water. All right. Yeah. Good, good, good. All right. We've just got 2 more sets of things to do. And we're going back to our 20-second work interval, 10-second rest interval. We're drinking lots of water, right? Your water is really far down at this point. If you're sweating even half as much as I am right now, I want you to be drinking that water, okay? Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. I put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable there. I'm not sure why I did that, but hey. All right, so 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest, 2 exercises. We're doing our pulsed front superheroes. So lying on our stomachs, legs extended, arms extended, lift up and down, up and down, up and down, okay? And then we're doing a double-legged mountain climber variant. So we still start in our plank, but we jump both feet forward, so our knees are on the outside of either elbow, and then back, front, back, okay? So those are our 2 exercises. So everybody back on your mats, getting ready for our second to last set of exercises. Our rest horn, we love it. Knock, knock, knock means get in position, which for this is super comfy. You just have to lie on your stomach. What could be easier? And we're keeping our arms and legs pretty straight, okay? And make sure that particularly when you're lifting that chest up, you should feel the engagement in your core. And if you're not, then you may be trying to compensate with other muscle groups. So check in on that, okay? And make sure that you are trying to actually use the core for that. All right, second time through. Oh, puzzle pieces. Maybe I should just like duct tape them together until I'm able to get myself a mat, a thicker mat, because that's really what it comes down to. I need some sort of a thicker mat for this surface so that I am protecting my joints and not totally murdering the person downstairs. Oh man, what a weird time. You know, in many ways, it's a great time to be streaming classes because so many of us are not going anywhere and not, going into gym settings, which is something that I certainly don't feel comfortable doing right now, so I understand it completely. But it also means that so many more people are home for many more hours of the day than usual, and that it provides this really weird balancing act. But I thankfully haven't had any complaints. It's not like I'm running these classes during a time of day where you would expect people to be quiet. That is not what I expect of people at 4:30 in the afternoon. So thankfully, I don't think that my teaching is getting in the way of anybody. All right, last time through. My dears, you are so close to being at in the final run of class. We're almost there. You just have to get through this last couple of sets of this timer, and then we'll just have one more timer to do. And it's going to be an easy one, I promise. And if you took class last week, you already know what the exercise is. So, super simple. But we will have time to drink a little water before we keep going. 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! All right. Here we go. Oh gosh. Yeah. And that's the other side of it, right? Is for many people, their exercise routine was active commuting, which is something I know I love to do. That has at many points in my life been exactly the way that I get my exercise. And yeah, when you're suddenly not needing to do that, it has a huge impact. That, like, when I moved out to Colorado, well before I became a personal trainer, I was working for a consulting company for a while, and it was a virtual office. So, you know, none of us were working anywhere but in our homes. We were all sort of scattered throughout the country. And before Colorado, when I was still living in Rhode Island, I absolutely had very active commutes, either walking or biking. And so coming out here and suddenly not having that reason to get that sort of baseline layer of activity into my day, it really impacted my own personal fitness for a number of years, because suddenly I exactly didn't have that reason to be walking, 4 miles round trip every day. But I'm glad you're doing this instead to make up for not having a desire to add two miles of commuting back into your day when you don't need them. All right, my friends, we're doing one more set. We're sticking with 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. It's going to be burpees. You know these. We did them in the warm-up. You're experts. I believe in you. And this is going to be the last thing that we do for class. So get ready, my friends. We want to send ourselves off with a big old bang, because it is time. You have made it through a full hour of class, and this is our final sprint towards the finish line. Remember that we're doing regular burpees, not the turtle burpee version that we did earlier. So if you have to take a second to remind yourself of what that is, totally understandable. And it's a nice thing to have to add in a little bit of conscious thought about an exercise that we do know so well. Most of the time, I'm not really having to think that hard about burpees because, well, they're in our warm-up. So we're always doing them at least once per class. But when you add the turtle burpees in there and then go back to the regular ones, you do sometimes have to put a little thought towards that. And again, it's nice to find those places that re-engage your brain, that pull it out of its plateau and remind it that it can do so much to help and to strengthen us and to push us through this process. But right now, what should be pushing you through this process is the fact that you are all so awesome. We are crushing this class. You've been going at it for an hour, and man, I hope that you feel good, because you should feel incredibly proud of yourselves. Make sure you're doing those big victory claps every time that you jump up there, and just constantly cheering yourself on, patting yourself on the back. We are halfway through, my friends, so I want you to get those cheerleaders out. Pull them out, put them on the ground, next to your mat, next to your computer, next to your TV, however you are watching the stream. I want you to listen to them going absolutely crazy, doing flips, throwing their pom-poms in the air, because they are so impressed by everything that you have accomplished today, and so am I, because this is an intense class and an intense time, and we are all doing the best that we can to make it through everything that we are dealing with, and it can be so intense and so hard to do that. But as long as we can gather together right here in front of our computers, here in our living rooms, getting together in the chat and just reminding ourselves that we are doing a great job and we are taking a whole bunch of curveballs that the world is throwing at us, and we are crushing them. We are sending them out of the park. I don't know baseball that well. There are at least 2 people in the chat right now who know baseball far better than I do. But you know what I'm going for. You're hitting a home run. You are crushing today, and you are just about to hear the sweet, sweet sound of that final timer. Yeah, good job, everybody. All right, I wanna do a little stretching. So everybody, join me on your mats, and let's start in a butterfly position. So soles of the feet together right here, and we are going to walk our hands forward. We want to be coming over our feet, but we don't want to just bend forward, because we're not going to get as much of a stretch in the hips if we do that. So I want you to take essentially a flat back position and then walk it forward as far as it can go. And then when you can't go any farther, let your upper back roll over, and you'll really feel that stretch, okay? So flat back, walk those hands forward slowly. We're not trying to shove ourselves into the position, and then curving our upper back over when we need to. So our heads, shake your head around, shake your neck out, make sure you're not tightening or holding your neck, and just relax into this position. Now we're going to take 4 deep breaths. Each time you exhale, try and bring your lower back a little farther down towards your hips, okay? So here we go, 4 deep breaths. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And 4. Roll ourselves up. All right, and then let's extend our legs straight out in front of us. And let's start with just extending our arms like this. And we're just going to keep that back flat and do some little pulses. We're not trying to push ourselves super far, just small pulses here. And then we're going to reach forward, reach for those toes, and fold over our legs. You can take a hand to the quad muscles, just shake them a little bit. Just make sure you're not clenching them. Again, you want to be stretching. So relaxing the muscles, not trying to activate them so that they can lengthen safely. All right. Nice deep breaths here. You're going to feel a lot of activation in your hamstrings as we fold over. All right, 4 deep breaths here. Here we go. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And 4, roll on up. Whew. And let's do that quad stretch because you know how much I love it. So for the working leg, the leg that's going to be stretching the quad, you want to fold with that foot on the outside of your hip, pulling that heel in right up against your hip. And we're going to slowly move backwards just until you feel a nice intense stretch along the quad. So if that's here, awesome. If that's here, awesome. Or maybe it's all the way down here, awesome. And again, moving slowly, always move slowly into these stretches. Okay, we're not trying to shove ourselves in there because we don't want to tell the brain that it wants to activate the muscles, because that will cause them to try to contract. And we're trying to lengthen, we're trying to stretch right now. So once we're down here, we're going to do our 4 deep breaths. And as always, each time you exhale, just try to sink a little bit more deeply into the stretch. Here we go. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And 4. Now we will, ever so awkwardly, get back up. Take one hand to the knee, one hand to the ankle, unfold the leg like that. Shake those knees out a bit, flex the feet, and point, and flex, and point. Circle the ankles, first one direction, and then the other direction. And let's do the other side. So, same form notes, same position, slowly moving ourselves down until we get that nice intense stretch. All right? And please do not feel like you need to shove yourself into a lower position than you can go, okay? Again, we're always trying to differentiate between pain that is, oh man, I'm getting a good workout, this is a good stretch, and pain that is, oh, I'm about to injure something. We don't like the latter, okay? So be honest with yourself about how deeply you can get into the stretch, okay? All right, 4 deep breaths, let's go. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And 4. All right. Carefully up. Manually unfolding the leg. Extending them out in front of you, shaking out those knees. Flex the feet. And point. And flex. And point. Circle the ankles one direction and the other direction. Oh, and I think that we are golden, my friends. All right. Whew. Crushing home runs is totally a thing people say. Good, great, awesome, thanks. Thanks. Oh, man. Good job, everybody. Man, what a class. What a class. All right. See this? This is too much water. And you don't have to be talking like I am, so you can just chug the rest of your water. Don't chug it. You don't have to chug it. You can drink it like a normal person. It's fine. Oh, yeah. Now we start the journey of rehydrating and refueling ourselves. Huzzah! Just in time for dinner for many of us, which is perfect. You know, you do a badass class and then you get to have a nice big dinner and feel really awesome. So, thank you all so much for joining me today. It's been I know I've talked about this, but it's been a heavy week. There's been a lot of hard emotional stuff to work through, but being here doing this class with y'all just never fails to make me feel better. So thank you all for being here and joining me on that journey. We've got 2 more classes this week. On Friday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time is Functional Home Fitness, where we do weight training using objects you can find around the house. And then Saturday morning at 9 a.m. is the weekend kickoff, which is our awesome strength and stamina focused bodyweight class. All classes currently subject to the whims of Rocktober, so hopefully you were able to take last week's class if you're planning on coming to those this week. But even if you didn't, there's still going to be awesome classes. So never let the fact that Rocktober has already begun keep you from taking class, because it is always a good thing to do, no matter what. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. The handles are in my end card, but they're all variations on Blanche Case Fitness. My YouTube channel, Blanche Case Fitness, is where the VODs from these streams are uploaded every Sunday. So head over there and subscribe if that's your jam. If you want to help support me financially in making these streams, I do have a coffee account, Blanche Case Fitness. Donations are always appreciated. And if you want to help me keep growing this community and being able to make more cool content for y'all, then please do follow this channel. Keep poking me to make all the awesome things I keep teasing you with, because there's a lot of things I want to do. So many things I want to do. And I'm really excited. So many plans. I've got big plans, you guys, big plans. So, yes, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking class. Thank you for, suffering through all of that. I hope that you had fun. And I hope that I will see at least some of you back here on Friday. Mwah. Have a great night.